white balancing does the proper color correction of a room. In terms of every light source has a different color it bleeds. These lights here are different than those fluorescents. If you look at the fluorescents, they're very whitish in color. Hopefully this is turned on. These can be orange, very white, they can be blue. It's called color temperature. It deals with degrees Kelvin, which we get on later in the program. What we're going to focus on today, though, is white balancing. And what white balancing is basically we're going to take the color white and we're going to set it as a natural color for the camera, saying this is what white looks like. It says okay, and then it resets all the other colors to make them look the proper color. If you white balance on something that isn't white, colors will be completely off, right? For example, white balancing on skin is not close to white. It's very pink. My skin, at least in this nature, is very pink. It wouldn't look correct, okay? White balancing on the green will completely throw the colors off. So we need to get a white piece of paper. Now, does anybody have anything white on them right now? Is anybody wearing a white shirt? You're the man. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the procedure to white balance. Can everybody still see the screen? Okay, so using the camera, you're going to stand right here. Okay, I'm going to use a small section of your t-shirt, probably right around here, to get my white balance. So for the time being, we're going to put a lot of the functions of the camera on automatic. Now that's very rare. On these professional cameras, there's very little that's automatic, mainly manual, because you have to be in control. You want to control every aspect of the camera. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to set the camera on either A, B, or preset. There are three little dials here on the sides, A, B, or preset. Now this video will be put online for you guys to look up close afterwards. But A, B, and preset. So I'm going to flip it to A, and what that is it allows me to record two white balances. One on A with a certain color, one on B. So if I was shooting on one side of the room, it's very bright with sunlight, and this was very incandescent light, the 3200 degrees, the old-fashioned light bulbs, right? I can set a white balance on that side, and when I go to this side, I can flip the switch and I have another one recorded on this side. So I can go back and forth in the rooms really quickly. Now to set the white balance, once I've got it on A, I'm going to do a couple steps. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom in all the way on his t-shirt. Okay, see what color it is right now? It's blue, right? Everybody agrees?
Yeah.
Okay. The second thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the iris and throw it on automatic, which is already, which means it's going to set the aperture. The camera's smart enough to set the aperture for me. It says, I can see the brightness in the room. This is what the aperture needs to be set at. On this camera, opposed to the Sony's, and I'll show you where it is on the Sony's, this camera has a switch right here. This is Auto WB for white balance. When I flip the switch upwards, it records a white balance. And in the screen, it is going to tell me what the color temperature of the room is. And it's going to set it accordingly. So right now I'm ready. I flip up, and colors change to the correct colors. Easy? Not too hard. So 3 steps. Zoom in on something completely white. We want to have as much of the frame white as possible. Usually the rule of thumb is about 50 to 80% is what you want to have in the frame. And as you can see, I got a good chunk of that right there. Okay, then I'm going to set the iris to automatic. The last thing I'm going to do is set the white balance. Okay, now on the Sony cameras right here, and Mr. Lobo, I'm going to show it to him and you at the same time. There is the white A and B, like I mentioned, and a preset. Preset is meant for certain rooms. When you cannot get a white balance, it's too dark, like outside at night, you can flip it on preset, and there's actually a setting for outside late at night. You can do it for theaters, where you want to get the color temperature identical on all 4 cameras. You set them to preset, and you can dial in a certain number. We get into that later on in the program. Your white balance button is underneath here to set the white balance, and your automatic iris on this camera is right here. It says auto and manual. You see that. Okay, now I'm going to show that to everybody else.